everyone, to the one and only Baseball Central podcast. I'm Ryan, this is TJ, and we're back at it for our 8th episode here on season 2. Coming up on the greatest week of all for baseball, the AllStar week here in LA this year.
Sir.
I'm just glad that the Dodgers got to have the AllStar break here after 20 went away. I thought they would have 21 and 22 already aligned, so that the Dodgers to get back here in line again, it was just nice of them to take care of business on that. So we want to talk first about the awesome home run derby. Seeing Albert Pujols out there was really fun, but we want to give a hats off to the winner.
The winner, Mr. Juan Soto.
And he is going to be actually brought up on our show a little bit later in his plan for the future. So we
it.
also wanted to give a shout out to Clayton Kershaw for getting his first start, All-Star game. That's kind of cool to see.
Is this its first start?
First ever start. He's won a couple Cy Youngs, had a no-hitter, but never started the All-Star game. So for him to be doing that in his own hometown here is kind of, not hometown where he's from, but his team that he plays for is really cool. So
and having 2 perfect game starts this year, right? He got to the 8th inning on both, or the 9th inning on one.
Yes.
Or
8th or 9th, yeah.
8th on both, but
Dave, I think took him out on
the
the first one.
first player to do that ever, to have 2 perfect games going into like the 8th inning. So pretty cool for him.
So tonight they had the camera with the umpire during the All-Star game and showing Kershaw's slider down and into right-handers, and all MLB put in the caption on the post was, "Baseball is hard." The ball comes out of his hand like it's going to be a fastball straight, and it just dies down and in quickly. So he's been the king of that for a long time, and throwing that off-speed pitch. They used to say at Dodger Town when I was playing in Vero Beach for a long time, they're like, this young kid's curveball reminds us a lot of Sandy Koufax. I think he's had to rely a little bit more on his slider some as he's gotten older, and his slider has developed into a really nice pitch for him. So
lefty curveball, it's not as good, or excuse me, Barry Zito had a good curveball when he was in his heyday. He had a good curveball too, but it was real loopy. But I think Kershaw's throwing some like that, but just like lefty curveballs can be a little awkward,
tricky for some.
Yep. With the home run derby, so who did you there were some newcomers.
I'm a Pete Alonso guy.
Yeah, there were some people that you expect to be there. Pete Alonso's going for his 3P. You kind of maybe hope that he at least gets to the finals, just because he had his groove going the last couple of times.
Oh, he had the dancing right after he had drilled some kid. Did you see that in the outfield?
No, what?
He hit a ball off some kid's leg.
This year or the last?
The one when he was dancing, getting into it. He had just hit a ball that some kid had missed and drilled him in the leg, and there was people
thank God the
with
leg.
the kid helping him off the field as he's hitting more home runs, and he's dancing like this.
Okay, well,
oh, it was so
leg,
funny.
But
so funny.
You'd think that Pete would have made it to the finals, but some surprises were obviously Pujols getting past the first round. I think Schwarber. I almost felt it was weird watching this. I thought they were kind of maybe sandbagging in a way to get Pujols to maybe continue, but I think it just worked out that way. I think a lot of the players were talking about the shadows at Dodger Stadium being hard to see. They started at 5 o'clock, so it can be a little tricky at that time. Was it Jose Ramirez hit from the righty side? Even though that's his true side, he has more home runs on the lefty side.
He might create a more pure swing left-handed. Personal favorite, other than Pete Alonso, was the Rodriguez kid. Yeah. He's fun to watch, and that's going to lead us right into our next thing we want to talk about is, I thought the Seattle Mariners uniforms in gray looked so good with that gold Seattle across the front.
Yeah, the All-Star unis.
TJ, who had the best uniforms for you?
I mean, the reason why I'm going to choose the Cardinals was because of it's more of the graphic. I think that it's a bird, it's 2 birds on the bat. It's not just, it doesn't say just Kansas City or whatever, but it's the way that the gold was just shining off of the white background.
I like the Mariners ones. I just thought Rodriguez looked great in his uni, and he's a fun player to watch. And
he's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a pretty good-sized kid.
6'3", and it's deceiving on TV, but he's a big guy.
He might just be lighter than what he's gonna be, and right now, once he fills out, you'll see how big he is truly. But I don't know if you guys have been watching this Captain on ESPN about Derek Jeter, the documentary. It's pretty amazing.
So good.
When A-Rod asks him, "Hey, are we good?" and Jeter looks at him, he goes, "I guess." Oh no, he goes. He asks me, he goes, "Hey, are we good?" And he looks at him and he goes, "Kind of."
I wasn't a big Jeter. I didn't really know of him. It wasn't as, I don't know. They made more, I think, hype of A-Rod.
Oh, 100%.
And so I was like, oh my God, A-Rod, this guy's cool. I think he was a couple of years ahead of me. So I'm like, dude, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Shortstop out of high school. So I kind of not looked up to him, but that was the guy. I'm like, okay, A-Rod's the man. And then as the careers continue, you see kind of
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe, but you can't knock that they both had great careers. Just one was a little more tainted.
One was a hell of a lot better in the playoffs than the other two.
Absolutely.
Derek Jeter's batting average was 383 in the playoffs, and World Series batting average 380 something. So just so you guys know, he raised his batting average 50 points in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a little insane, guys.
Just his overall on field, off field, just he was consistent. Jeter, just amazing.
Yeah. Check that out, guys. Call the Captain, ESPN Plus. You guys can find it. 7-8 episodes, I believe. First one just aired. It's worth your time. We want to talk about this guy, Aaron Judge, and how great a season he's having and what his plans are for the future.
I saw an interview where an interviewer asked him, hey, what's going on about, a kid was asking about you being a Yankee or not being a Yankee, and it was kind of putting him on the spot, and he kind of danced around it in a sense, but kind of didn't, and basically said, hopefully you'll always be a Judge fan, but being a Yankee is the next level of you make it to the major league. Oh my God, it's amazing. So when one of my best friends, Sean Chacon, made it to the major leagues, it was amazing. It was a monumental feat. But then when we heard he was getting traded to the Yankees, it was like, oh man, you really made it.
Holy grail.
You really made it. So
Holy
to
grail.
Not be wanting to stay there for whatever reason, and I don't know, but he basically, I felt like he was alluding to probably not going to be coming back. So
interesting. Who gets Aaron Judge? Where does he go?
Where can he go?
Mets, Angels, Dodgers.
Where does he want to go?
Rangers. Who can afford him? You know what would be tight is to watch him go to the Mariners, and then the Mariners get way better because they have that Rodriguez kid, and they're on a streak right now. The Mariners.
You have this opportunity to have a career in New York, where it's the epitome of franchise and winning.
Right.
They have the most titles.
Any major league sport.
So why would you not want to be there? I don't know. But Juan Soto turns down a $440 million 15-year deal from Washington.
Whoa. I don't know about you guys, but what I'm hearing is the contract was back end loaded. So a lot of he wants $35 million right now. He's 23 years old. They weren't willing to pay him that until he's about closer to 30. And maybe some more production. I get it. I don't want to play somewhere for 15 years. I want to play for 5 to 7 and have an option to play another 5 to 7 somewhere else. That's 2 big contracts right there instead of one massive one. I don't care if it's 275 and 275. That's more than 440. I know math.
Well, he has the ring. He's got a ring, and so now
with a small market team, yeah.
Right. So now he's like, well, let me go see what I can do in a big market team, or just a lot of money in baseball, man.
Yeah. There's going to be some prospects thrown around in these trades. Just so you guys know, Juan Soto is going to get a huge package for him. Yeah, we also had the Major League Draft just recently here. Kind of exciting to see these young players that the teams are going for. Number 1 pick is a former Major Leaguer's son in Holiday. So that's kind of cool to see these pedigree of all these Major Leaguers finally having their kids make it to a team. So it's just really cool to see these guys finally getting called up.
Who went number 1 overall was Holiday's kid?
Yeah,
right?
Matt Holiday's
kid. That's super cool.
Left-handed hitting shortstop. He's not huge, but he's got a lot of skill and a great swing. So
pretty cool.
I think he'll be all right in the future.
Marquise Grissom Jr.
Yeah,
got drafted.
Shout
out to you, Lil Grip. He got drafted by the Nationals, believe it or not. So
cool.
Congrats on that. That's super
You went to
cool.
Georgia Institute of Technology?
Was it?
That's Georgia Tech, right?
Is that what
I believe
that's
it's
how
Georgia
you say
Tech. It is the Georgia Institute of Georgia Tech.
Okay, see?
Tech,
I just learned something new. I just said Georgia Tech, so
yeah.
I didn't want to. That's too long to say.
It really is.
So
but I think that's the same school we're talking about. I'm pretty
you
sure
went to Georgia Tech, for sure.
I think that's Georgia Tech, yeah.
Yeah, so congrats to Lil Grip.
With all these new young players coming into the game, guys, it's interesting to see how, these guys have worked their whole life to get to this opportunity to get picked up. But it's not just about getting picked up in this game. It's about what you can do with the opportunity. And you guys out there that aren't going to be first-round picks, don't hang your head, because sometimes free agents, guys who sign for a hat and a plane ticket, still make it because all they need is the opportunity to show that they're a good teammate, they're loyal, they work hard, they're determined, they learn. These are the things that make these guys such great stories that aren't first-rounders. So if you're a guy out there that isn't being the number 1 pick, or you're not in perfect game or whatever, or you're not getting Baseball America in high school on you, then don't sweat it, because going junior college worked for TJ. Getting picked up by a Division I is extremely hard. Division II and III still gets drafted. You got to find
Piazza.
Yeah, and I tell kids, go to where you're going to get picked up to play for a team that wants you, where you can play early. Mm-hmm. They're going to pay as much as they can. That's the number 1 and number 2 things. Am I going to play right away, and how much can you pay me? Not financially pay me like NIL, even though that's possible now. What I'm saying is scholarship-wise, what can you do for me? Because baseball offers partial instead of full scholarships. Like football, that brings in a lot of money. When they get a scholarship, they get 100% fully taken care of full ride because they bring in the majority of the money to the school. But baseball gets kicked down that money from football, and they're only allowed to give partial scholarships, like 65% instead of 100. So you want to get as much money as you can up front. You want to go to a place where you're going to play right away, and then from there, let the chips fall where they may.
There's so much talent out there. It's amazing, especially now, like you said, with Perfect Game, and it's
so much evaluation going on.
Yeah,
now.
so it makes it hard, I think, for probably the front office and the brass and the GMs to try and figure out like who's going to pan out, who's got it. So
who's our guy?
That's what they're talking about. Derek Jeter. What was his name? Stick.
Mm-hmm.
Stick. The interim general manager for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's got it.
Yeah, I watched his highlights in high school. He was really lanky, but man, he had some things to offer.
Mm-hmm.
He had some things. We want to talk about another huge deal that's coming up. Right now, no one knows about this. A lot of the executives are talking about this, but no one's really bringing it out right now.
Ken Griffey Jr. is coming back, dude.
Ken Griffey's actually going to participate in the home run derby.
He's like, maybe I'll come back.
You could not wear your hat backwards and swing like Griffey from the left side when you were 10 or 11. If you were an 80s baby, you had to do that. That was gold standard of wiffle ball, hitting like Griffey, Mark McGwire, Derek Jeter, Sammy Sosa. Those were the guys that we all tried to look like.
Yeah.
But this deal that's out on the table right now that I'm going to break to you, this is breaking news here first on the Baseball Central podcast, DJ. The Angels are not going to be able to sign Otani to a 10-year deal, okay? Because he wants 10 years, and unfortunately they have this other guy. What's his name?
Miguel Salomon.
Meteor?
Miguel Triante. Tim Salmon?
all these guys are saying, like, for the Angels to win, they're going to have to get rid of Mike Trout for a huge package right now.
That's a big package.
Everybody in LA is tripping right now. They're like, no way, right? Trout traded? Why would they ever do that? Because the guy that owns them only cares about jersey sales, just so you guys know. He never cares about winning, the Angels owner. But Otani wants a 10-year deal, and between Trout and Otani, they would eat the most of the payroll to where they wouldn't be able to sign anyone else and have anyone else to help them win. So the Angels are like, hey, Otani, you can sign a 10-year deal with the Angels, but you and Trout are going to stay there forever and never make the playoffs. And you guys will just be really rich and never happy. Very next picture I slide on Instagram is Otani wearing a Dodgers hat. And that's where it gets kind of interesting. So could you imagine if Cody Bellinger and Walker Buehler were traded to the Angels for Otani? And yet we still have bets. I'm thinking Buehler's a starter
I don't think they're going to take Bellinger just from his
last few years. But all the execs think Walker Buehler is who you'd be the first pitcher that you'd want to build a franchise with right now over Garrett Cole. At the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, that's what MLB Now is saying is Walker Buehler would be the number one pitcher that you'd want to build a franchise around. It's going to take more than Cody Bellinger, and they're not getting rid of Mookie Betts, the Dodgers. It's going to take like I'm saying, it's going to be a Justin Turner, Bellinger, and maybe a Walker Buehler or like a
Buehler, yes, because they have younger pitchers coming up.
Plus all of the Dodgers prospects in the minors to get that to happen. So the Dodgers wouldn't have any way to refresh their system again for a while. So this is interesting. Obviously the Yankees, right, would be a team. The only team that had about $84 million sitting around, they paid $80 million just to have the rights to talk to Otani. That's what these Japanese clubs do. They force you to pay a fee up front. It's just like in soccer when, Ronaldo went to Juventus, they have to pay a huge fee just to be able to make that happen to the other club, or they have to talk to him, they have to pay him up front like an $80 million just to get the rights to speak to him. And then from there they sign a $150 million deal, that kind of thing. So,
dude, it's crazy. Well, Otani's changed the game and brought a lot of excitement, so I think he's worth almost everything. Trout, one of the best players in the game, even though he has these ups and downs as far as injuries. I think that makes me a little weary.
Sure.
But Otani, I think, has that power right now to be like, hey,
let's do it.
Let's do this.
He has leverage. Yes.
He has leverage. So
a lot of things going to be happening here in the next few weeks for us. We're going to be having some new episodes out. If you guys are interested, hit our DMs, comment on our stuff. We got Wave Bat Company right here that we've been working, TJ's brand.
New mint chocolate chip right here.
TJ, tell them about the mint chocolate chip. It's got the, what's the handle, waffle cone?
It's like it's a little waffle cone idea here. It's got some textured layer here. It's my favorite ice cream ever. Mint chocolate chip. I
love
grew up on
that.
this. It was
chocolate chip mint.
31 flavors, mint chocolate chip, sugar cone.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of a waffle / sugar cone take on the handle.
I love it.
3330. It's amazing. Come rake and lick it. I don't know. That's weird.
If you wanna lick the bat like some of the guys do, I've seen them do it. Yeah.
Puig used to lick it. I mean,
yeah, just a foul tip area.
we're talking about like spraying it with something where you would foul it, and then you know how you used to smell like the smoke of the wood or the leather. You'd foul it, be like mint chocolate chip.
Oh wow.
Right? Or
but
just
it could be scented, yeah.
It's scented, or like just scratch it real quick.
I was gonna say almost a way for the paint that if you were to miss hit the ball, it would leave a mark in a different color on the bat.
Oh,
like neon, like imagine
rainbow sherbet,
like a neon bat, but when you foul it off, it created like another neon color on it. You see what I'm saying?
Remember the Hypercolor T-shirts? You touch it and then you like the handprint.
Yes.
It'd be like it was hot. Oh my!
For all you guys that don't know, 3M is that technology on Nike or like any of that stuff that's reflective, like on construction gear. You know, when they wear those yellow vests that reflect. That's the technology we're talking about. But I would love to see some color changing paint at some point.
That'd be cool.
That'd be something.
They had a lot of cool bats tonight in the AllStar game, and in the Home Run Derby. There's like super fun, kind of like our decorative bats.
Oh yeah, they definitely had customized bats for the Home Run Derby and the AllStar game because you can't swing all of those in the regular season because they have too much color or white on the barrel, whatever.
There's certain regulations as far as the
colorways.
Colorways. But I think that this is kind of still a fun way to express yourself, and you never know, it might pass at some point.
Shout out to the Dodgers for leading their division by how many games?
They're up by 10 games.
10 games. Dodgers taking it to the house. Who else?
San Diego's San Diego's in second, but they're 10 games back. We got in the East, New York Mets are holding on with a 2.5
Don't
game
fucking lose that
lead.
2-game lead, Mets. I can't watch you guys do it. I can't do it.
I know.
I love you guys, but damn it, it hurts.
Atlanta's like knocking on the door.
Well, they're fun to watch.
Yeah. In the Central, we got Milwaukee just a half game up from St. Louis, which low key, I want St. Louis to.
Where are the White Sox and?
Well, this is the NL. Let's go to the AL. New York is 13 games up on Tampa Bay.
Insane right now.
My team that I picked, Boston, they're 16.5 back. Hey, you really get going.
Hey, you have a half season to figure it out. So let's
in
go.
the Central, your White Sox are 3 games back from first.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And they've been playing like dog water.
It's Minnesota, and then Cleveland's 2 games back, and then the White Sox.
Cleveland's always a sleeper.
And in the West, you got your Houston Astros. They're there. Seattle's 9 games back. Texas is 17.5 back. Ouch.
Damn, Corey Seager having a great year though. Shout out to that big guy. I want to say one thing about the Astros and the Yankees are probably going to be the 2 favorites for the World Series, but the Dodgers could get in that mix and potentially another team. So, but yeah, the Astros are the 2 best teams in baseball, are the Yankees and the Astros right now, statistically, with wins and losses. So. It looks like I was listening to Frank Thomas talk about at the AllStar game during the Home Run Derby. The 2 teams he'd like to see right now are the Yankees and the Astros, based off their resume so far.
Well, they're going to probably battle, and then we'll see who makes that from the NL. It's going to be.
I'm thinking Dodgers, Padres.
I mean, maybe the Braves
Milwaukee?
might. Yeah. Well, yeah. You never know. St. Louis has something to fight for. They got Molina and Pujols and Wainwright all back together. They
have Goldschmidt and Arenado.
And who else? And then Nolan Gorman and
who's that right fielder that Lindsay or huge buff dude?
Bader.
Harrison Bader.
And then
they have some dude that looks like a bodybuilder that hits in the outfield, corner outfield.
We'll see. It's gonna be fun,
guys. Comment, like, hit our DMs, check out our bats. Buy a T-shirt off Excuses None if you're feeling it, because we would love to send you an extra one with it to surprise you. So
I love giving out stuff. We're going to do a giveaway next episode, some kind of a package, whether it's a wave bat, Excuses None, Good Eye Juice, Baseball Central, all clumped into one. We're going to do something special, so make sure you guys pay attention, stay tuned.
And if you're local, come into Baseball Central here and see us. Come see us here at the
facility. Here.
Venice Boulevard here in Los Angeles, okay?
Sir.
We appreciate you guys tuning in, and have a wonderful evening, guys.
Thank you.
And have a great second half of your Major League Baseball season, guys. We'll see you.